there, I'm Rachel and I'm a Tractor Supply team member. Growing up on a farm with plenty of livestock, I know how important stock tanks are to the health and well-being of your animals. But today, people use stock tanks for all kinds of purposes, and they're not just on farms. So let's take a closer look. First, we'll cover stock tank basics. Then we'll look at the different types, sizes, and uses. We'll talk about what to consider when choosing your stock tank and end with a few valuable installation and maintenance tips. The stock tank is a farm staple and a fixture of rural life. They're mainly used as a water source for livestock, hence the name stock tank. They can also be used to hold other liquids or even feed. But in more recent years, stock tanks have grown in popularity with urban and suburban folks alike who are looking for a smart way to create everything from raised beds to mini ponds. The bottom line is, there are a whole lot of ways to use stock tanks, and there are a lot of stock tanks to consider. When it comes to size, stock tanks can range from tens of gallons to thousands of gallons, so when choosing a size, consider the use. If you're using it as a brooder for baby chicks, think small. If you're watering a pasture full of horses, you'll probably want something a whole lot bigger. As far as shapes go, whether you choose a tank that's round, oval, or square is completely up to you, based on what works best for your needs and your location. Finally, consider materials. Most of the stock tanks you'll see are made from galvanized steel, which is light, sturdy, and durable. Plastic or polyethylene tanks are also available and come in a variety of colors. These require less maintenance than steel, but don't typically last as long. Choosing the right stock tank really comes down to how you'll be using it and how big of a tank you'll need. If you'll be using it with livestock, be sure to consider the type of animals, the number of animals, and the tank location. If you'll be using it as a pond or raised flower bed, you'll want to consider the overall aesthetic and make sure the tank you choose can handle the job and look good doing it. Now that you've got your tank, it's time to install it. You'll want to make sure the tank is level. This evenly distributes the water and cuts the risk of spilling. Keep in mind that your tank may shed some water and will need to be emptied and refilled from time to time, so choose a location that has good drainage. If you'll be using a pump or tank deicer, be sure the tank is close to an electrical source. Finally, if you're using your tank as a pond, be aware of how much sunlight it might get. You may want the sun to warm the water, but you don't want the tank material to get so hot that it becomes unsafe. As far as maintenance goes, stock tanks don't require much. Whether you choose a poly or a steel tank, the primary maintenance task is to clean it thoroughly. This helps protect the tank and the animals using it. So now you know all about stock tanks, from the basics to sizes, shapes, and materials, to choosing a tank and installing and maintaining it. If you have any questions, just stop by your local Tractor Supply and ask a team member for help.